Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's Farmington School Board meeting, emergency meeting. I'd like to call this to order. It is an emergency meeting that we scheduled to deal with a few things, and at this point, I'd ask you to all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have public participation. We have a few people here, so please, if you'd come up and state your name for the record and at the mic, that'd be great.
Thank you.
And then after do you want to let people know what number to call
Yes.
in?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, should have done that first.
That's okay.
Good evening. My name is Blake McGurty, Assistant Principal at Valley View. This is
Paul Roberts, Principal of Valley View.
just having the opportunity to speak to the Farmington community and the board. I just wanted to, on behalf of both of us, thank their teachers for all of their hard work over the past week and a half, and also the support that the parents have shown as well as we've made the push towards remote learning. Yesterday was a great opportunity to see a lot of the parents and children come by and pick up their educational packets and some of the food that Fresh Picks prepared as well. So just wanted to say it's been a great community experience. Thank you.
85% of our parents showed up during the time to pick up curriculum materials, so I want to thank them all very much for taking the time to drive up to Valley View. Thank you.
Good. That's a very good start.
Yeah.
Also, because we're trying to limit our attendance at these meetings, we are we'll supply the general public with a call-in number that if you want to call in during public participation, either this section or the one later in the meeting, that number is 834-0109. Like I said, if you want to call with any public comment, that is the number that you could call in and speak to the board and the community. So, anyone else? Okay, not hearing any. I'm going to leave the public participation open a little bit more, so they're giving time for people to come in, but we're going to just proceed with our business that's on the agenda. First, we've got a report from Ruth Ellen regarding the update on remote learning plans.
As was said just a few minutes ago, yesterday was our first pickup/drop-off day. We had both food and materials going out. This is Mr. Shagnon. Maybe? You're on speaker. Oh, well, you're not on speaker. All right, hang on a minute.
You can hear me okay?
Well, it's connected to Bluetooth, but for some reason you're not on there. Hang on. Let me put you
Go on.
audio. Now you should be. Go ahead, say something.
Okay.
Yep, you're on speaker. Okay.
So thanks for joining us, Joel.
You're welcome.
We've got through the pledge, a little bit of public participation, and we're in. Ruth Allen is giving us a report on the update on the remote learning plans.
Okay.
So yesterday's pickup went very smoothly, thanks to the work of dozens and dozens of people who made it happen. We did Chromebook deployment both Wednesday and Thursday evening. Materials pickup primarily yesterday. A few people came by to pick those up. For those who have not been able to do that, those materials will be delivered on Monday. The routes will be going out starting around 10 o'clock. We will also be doing food delivery. If you indicated that you need food delivered, we will be delivering that to you. If you did not, then we need you to plan to come by the schools. We are having food pickup from both Valley View and Henry Wilson. There is no food pickup from the high school, but high school students can receive food at either of the other two schools. So if you've indicated that you are dropping by to pick that up, please go ahead and do that. If you did not, or your circumstances are changing and are looking to do that, please let us know that by tomorrow or by Wednesday morning. I will be turning that back on so that you can let us know for the next pickup. It's cut off the morning before the delivery date. So for Monday delivery, it's cut off Friday morning so that we can get our count, so that the kitchens can get that prepared. That will be turned back on Monday at noontime, and that will run through Wednesday at noontime. If you have already indicated that you are looking to have food prepared, whether drop off or pick up, you're already on the list, you don't have to do it again. If your circumstances have changed and you want to be added to the list, go ahead and follow the same directions that have been sent out, and they are posted on our website. And if you have any questions, you can call our office at 755-2627. We'll make sure we get that out to you. But I don't want to rattle off a whole long list of numbers. They are in print in other places right now, and I don't want to confuse people with which ones are which.
And those numbers and contacts are on the SAU website?
They're on the SAU website. They are up on Facebook. There is a Google form you can fill out. If you don't have access to that, there is a phone number you can call to indicate what you need to do. We will be delivering the materials, and again, we're looking to start our remote learning in earnest on Monday. Although I know that there are kids that have already received materials and are thumbing through and have started doing some checks with their teachers to make sure they can get online if that's how things are running. For the paper materials, please know that we're going to have drop-off for that. We will also be doing pickup for those who needed materials dropped off. And we will have bins that materials are dropped into so that they will sit for a bit before they will be then redistributed, so that we make sure that we aren't cross-contaminating back and forth what's going to you or what's coming back to us. Because our health matters, and so does yours, and we want to make sure that that makes sense. At this point, it's now looking to see how the scheduling goes, and we know that there will be some tweaks that may need to be made. We're going to be flexible with people. If your students are finding the work a challenge in getting scheduled, please communicate with your teachers. We can't help with what we don't know is happening, but people have been really, really supportive. I want to personally thank all of you who've taken the time to just shoot me a quick email or a text to say thank you for what you're doing. And I will say that nothing that I've been able to do over the past week and a half would have been possible without the staff. They've been absolutely amazing, and I really, really appreciate them all. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the old business, we have reorganization. Apparently, we had a couple of, two appointments to the negotiating committee, representatives that we need to do also. I know we have Joel's called in. We have 2 members absent or excused. I'd be interested in doing a negotiation committee, so I would volunteer for it. I don't know, Joel, your thoughts?
I wouldn't mind. Is this for the upcoming paras for the next school year, or the request from the Teachers Association?
I would say both.
Well, I don't. Okay. Well, I don't know if we necessarily have to pick the negotiation. We can't negotiate with the paras till after July 1. I'm not sure we need to do that tonight, but Stan, I know that the teachers wanted to reopen, and I know Stan was part of that team. I certainly, if he doesn't want to do that, I would help.
So you think it's better to table till we have a full board?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it has to happen tonight.
No, I'll agree with that,
Dan
Joel.
will be calling in Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it didn't fall off the radar, so.
So
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to table till the next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor?
Aye.
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 When
Okay.
you say next meeting, is that the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We'll try to get it done as soon as we can.
Okay.
Next, we have job description for administrative assistant / school board secretary, second read from 316.
This was in your packets for Monday
Yep.
night. What we are looking to do, because we've not had a recording secretary for quite some time, The suggestion was to combine that with an open position for the Henry Wilson front office. It doesn't have to be combined, but we were hoping to perhaps do a 2-for-1 to try to fill both positions. We could separate them and advertise them as either, but we've not had anyone take just the board secretary position, and that's been open for a while now.
I have had a little bit of experience with having this combined position at the town level, and we have been pretty much unsuccessful at every attempt. And because a full-time person, it's really scheduling, a lot to ask from personal scheduling to be at a night meeting and then adjust the rest of the scheduling. And I myself, I would like to see them stay separate and find somebody in the short term. I think there's maybe somebody available, but maybe continue to list the position for recording secretary for a permanent, but.
I know at one time we advertised the recording secretary. Is that still advertised or advertised as open?
It may not have been refreshed this week. My secretary's been out, and
Okay.
it hasn't been high on my list, quite honestly, but it's been up,
Okay.
pretty much.
I concur with Charlie in that I don't want to take somebody, particularly with the number of meetings we're going to have going through this crisis, I don't want to take somebody out of the school and put them in our meetings and take those hours away from the school. I think potentially there's been discussion of an option out there with somebody doing the minutes from the videos.
That won't work for non-public, but we'll have to
Right.
do that anyway.
Well, non-public, normally we do staff anyway, correct?
Well,
If it's,
we're looking to do that at this point,
okay.
yeah.
I'd like to see it re-advertised so that it's public in case we get somebody that wants to come in just for that position. If not, we can look at the alternative with the woman that's doing it on the town side. I've had experience with her. She does a good job. She's quick.
But we meet
I'd
at
like-
the same time as the selectmen, so it would have to be from
By
when we
tape.
turn the tape.
Yep.
And provided we have no technological issues, that's fine. I just want to make sure we don't lose something if we have a glitch and
And
we have no
in the
minutes.
short term, what we have done in the past is to also have just a straight tape recorder, so that it would pick up potentially anything that's a glitch or not clear on the recording. And there may be some other
backup.
instance where there might be something still would fall through the cracks, but I think we'd have to address that on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I made this suggestion because I personally want the staff and the board members to be involved and engaged in the meetings and be able to contribute. And I think in the interim, we could fill that gap until we can fill it permanently. So, Joel, your thoughts?
Actually, he hears you on this.
Oh, Joel, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, it would be, if that's probably the best option next to what we've been doing, and we have had this posted for several months and have had no bites. So that's probably the best next option.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Currently, we do have applicants for the position as
Okay.
it's posted. So if we are separating out, we can certainly let them know that the positions are being separated. And then if it's separate, then we don't need to have any board members present for that interview. We can just do.
Okay, so consensus, we're going to split those duties back out as far as the job description?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Is someone going to make a motion?
And we do need a motion for that.
Okay, so I'll
because-
motion to split that job application back out to the two separate jobs.
So what you're voting on is actually the job description.
Right.
So you are splitting that job description, you're amending it to be two separate descriptions.
Yep.
Okay.
Or back to the original administrative assistant position.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Not hearing it?
Yeah, Charlie, if I may, is that won't change the job description at all now, will it, Ruth Ellen? It'll go back to what it was?
Yeah, it will change Not much as far as what's in the schools, no. No, it won't change that. We had added the piece for here. So no.
Was there anything else added besides the piece of participating at the board meetings?
Were the hours changed?
Yes, if you want to. Mr. Castongwe brought up the hours were changed because we had dropped it to a 35-hour-a-week position so that they would have the additional hours to do the board secretary piece. So if you're splitting those, are you looking to put the hours back?
Your thoughts, Joel?
Well, I'm looking for it to stay the way that it was. I mean, it was only adjusted to accomplish getting somebody there at night. And
Correct.
if we don't think that's going to work well and we want to go with that other option, which I'm fine with, then it should just go back to what it was.
Yeah, I would agree.
Can I just get clarification? Does that mean I don't have to do minutes at the next meeting?
Yeah.
That, well,
I just to
potentially, because, I mean, well, I'll pick that up right after we finish this motion. Any other discussion on this motion?
Yeah, right.
I'm all set.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
What I would like to do is have this board, if it's agreeable, to give consensus to Ruth Ellen to speak to the individual, go through whatever she's got to do for typical hiring practices and so forth like that. I mean, I have communicated through Arthur to see if she was available. She is available, but I'm not.
We don't have anything official.
Right.
Okay.
And I did speak to her in person, and she was willing to do it if she could do it from the tape. But as any employee, she has to go through the standard practice. So I would just like to have Ruth Ellen speak to her, and basically, if it's possible to make happen.
Okay.
I'd be excited for it to happen as soon as possible because I take like 3 hours worth of minutes a day
Right.
in the meetings and then paperwork.
I know
so
she was available.
My focus is a little
Right.
gone by the time we get
Right.
to 6 o'clock.
But, depending on what,
Sure.
the
I will.
employment requirements are, the pay is, I
Yep.
mean, I don't want to
Yep.
say,
I will be a good soldier until then, but I'm hoping there's an end in sight.
she is available at the next meeting.
Excellent.
If, it works
If we
out.
can, we'll do.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So are you agreeable to that, Joel?
Yes, thank you.
Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, so by consensus, you could contact Arthur Capello, and he can give you her contact information. I don't have it myself.
Okay, that was my next question, so you anticipated, thank you.
My other thought is if we run a separate recorder for her, is maybe set up a Google Drive account where you can upload the WAV file and she can get it online as backup to the video.
We can-
And I have a recorder if you need it.
Okay, we can do that, thank you.
Okay, so it takes care of that. The next thing under old business is budget. Consideration of options to reach voter operating budget figure. So I don't know if you want to, who wants to start? I'll start with a couple of thoughts. One, has anybody had a chance at this, on the school side, administration side, to look to see what, because of the change regarding the online learning, what might not be fully expended this year? Is there potential monies that we could anticipate not spending, do some, whether it's purchasing for things we need in next year, to take that off of next year's budget? I went through, the budget's 52 pages, the itemized one, and I just looked at it quickly, and I'm not the keeper of all the bills, but I think there might be a number, and I don't know how big that might be until somebody, I think, has a chance to go through it.
There is a possibility for some of that. How much of that is absolutely directly related to our current situation? No, we haven't done that
Right.
particular analysis because we've been pretty deep in the weeds.
Yeah.
As far as where things might be able to be purchased now for moving forward, there's a possibility, but I can't, part of it is stuff versus staff. I can't pay for staff ahead.
That's right.
Can I buy some things ahead to potentially give us a little bit of space for staff? Maybe, but most of what we're looking at isn't things.
Right.
We can certainly address that, but we don't have a great deal of time in doing that either.
Right. Well, I guess my question is it 2,000, 10,000, 50,000? What is an estimated, what would be a reasonable estimated number?
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, and so we can look at some estimates, but I think we need to throw everything on the table that's a possibility.
Right.
And then look at,
Yep.
because I'm not going to try to just pull on the fly, because I don't
No.
think that's fair, and I'm certainly not going to ask Janet to do likewise.
No, that's not really my point. It's just like, let's look to see what might not be expended. Another one thing that we may also be able to anticipate with the recent drop in fuel oil, is that potential a significant change? It might not be.
And I will say that
Because isn't it?
pre-buying fuel oil is a bit of a, it has a history here. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, and it is somewhat on speculation. I mean, at
Janet,
times.
did you want to say something?
Yes, I did. Relative to the oil, it won't change our metric this year. We're in an annual contract. A bid will be coming to the board at an upcoming meeting. We have fuel oil out to bid, and yes, fuel oil has dropped. I've been watching the futures, and we are hoping to lock in as soon as possible, but we have that bid open until the 31st.
Right. Yeah, but.
Bring it to the next meeting.
Yeah, one thing I just thought of is, based upon how it's tracking, is there a potential, and what might that be?
And we
It's
won't
gonna
likely
depend
know
on
until the
what the market rate
31st.
is. We always write into the oil bid, or at least I've always written into the oil bid, that I have the ability right up until the date that we sign the contract to ask for a different price, even if they quote me a higher one, based on the futures. And that benefited the district last year. We actually got an extra 6 or 7 cents off per gallon, because it had dropped after they submitted their bid price. So I certainly will keep the board informed of what that is. And yes, it's definitely going to be lower than what we paid this year. So there may be some savings there. We may also be looking at kind of the mark of the performance contracting. I think some of the projects that we may be looking at there might also provide a significant energy savings as well. So in answer to your question, a lot of it's fluid right now, but I do agree with you, Charlie, and unfortunately, this situation that we're in right now makes it a little difficult to predict because it's not linear.
I also want to caution on the performance contract, while there will be savings in whatever we are able to do, those savings pay for what we've done.
Right.
So we can't necessarily say that that's going to drop our bottom line there.
Those savings, yeah, may not
Get
be
plowed back
realized
into-
until later years.
Right, because that's what pays for the changes.
Tim?
Right off the top of my head, we do have some deadlines with the budget process. One of the things I'd like to recommend without any objection is that Jana send an email to DRA tomorrow morning asking for a 3-week extension based on everything else that's going on. So that gives us as a board enough time to deal with the emergency and the coronavirus in our meetings, and also buys us a little bit of time on the budget for the DRA reports that have to be filed. I'm aware we have the 415 on staff,
And
and
that is under consideration right now, but that requires congressional action. That's not something that can just be moved by the
Okay.
governor.
okay.
Can she do that Monday morning instead of
That's fine.
tomorrow?
That's what I meant.
Okay, all right.
My calendar's a little off.
Yeah, I
fine.
agree. It certainly wouldn't hurt us to ask. If it's not granted, it would be good to put us on the list of, hey, we've gotten calls from this many communities that they're looking for a little timeline relief.
And I don't know how soon we will know about the April 15th deadline. It's in process, but I'm guessing that's probably going to be another week before we hear done.
I think I'm pretty confident with the April 15th, and I think we want to get word out to the staff as quickly as possible. I'm more or less looking at the deadlines and the DRA paperwork being filed. I think it's the end of this month that
It's the
Those-
31st
the schedules have to be up. Is that 31st deadline by statute, or is the teachers?
statute.
The 31st is...
For the 31st for DRA is by statute.
Okay.
So that may take the same act of Congress
Yep.
to move that
Okay.
the other piece does.
I've got some concepts I want to discuss on the budget, most of which are going to be in non-public. Overall, budget-wise, I want to look at contracted positions. What is there? What's the value of those positions? What we need to keep? What we may be able to let go? I'd be looking in non-public for a number of potential positions we're going to lose through attrition. Again, do we have to fill those, or are those positions that we may be able to reallocate with other positions? I'd like a breakdown on the IT budget. One of the things that came up in one of the public hearings was, and I was involved in it last year, we did some extended increases in the budget, somewhere around $200,000. This year, those same increases came forward. I'd like to look at some of those increases to see why we carried them forward. Some are of the impression that there were one-year finances. The other thing I want to compare is our IT budget to our technology fund. Is there hardware costs that are within that budget that may be funded through this year, at least on a temporary basis, through that technology fund? And the last thing is, I'm going to go in under a business negotiation. I've got some concepts I want to discuss in non-public under negotiations with the medical insurance with the company, not with the employees.
Okay. Joel, do you have any initial things regarding the budget, your thoughts?
Nothing additional to that. I want to re-ask with that one because I'm not sure I heard it correctly. What right now is under review as far as a potential deadline change? Was it the March 31st paperwork to DRA, or was it the April 15th notification of staff?
Right now, during the commissioner's call, we were told that they are looking at the April 15th deadline to staff.
And nothing at all with, I'm surprised, nothing said about the DRA deadline.
I missed about 6 minutes of the call, but I went back through the chat questions because they're all listed and I did not see anything about DRA. I will double check it, but nothing came up.
That's surprising to me, given where we're at right now and how quickly that deadline approaches.
I think partly because most got this budget or that, not a, yeah, but we'll look at it. I think partly too, everybody else is in the weeds of what things look like right now and dealing with staff.
Yeah, no, I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to some of those topics that Mr. Brown just outlined during non-public.
We can also send up our errors in our report and have it kicked back with an extension.
We prefer not to
How about missing fields?
we prefer not to go that route.
You didn't fill in these fields, that's because we don't have the numbers yet. Yeah. You can come
It
down and
won't
help
let you
us.
submit if they're blank.
Oh, won't?
No.
We tried then.
Nope.
Don't we get a C minus for trying?
For me, yes. I don't know that I count.
Well, at this point, Roseanne, I don't know if you have anything you want to add under the general discussion. Feel free. And what I'm also going to do is open it up to any members here and the members of the public before we break out of the public portion.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to add in the public portion? I mean,
I do.
okay. I was going to
Go
say.
ahead.
First thing I want to do is I want to thank all the employees of the school district for their hard work and ethic. I also want to stress to the public that the public needs to realize that this system was built in a week. I think the staff did a phenomenal job. As this rolls out, certainly the SAU is going to find some glitches. They'll get through those glitches and fix them as quickly as possible. But I think to see from a Monday to a Friday to the point where we are now, with very little notice, I think everybody has done a phenomenal job. Middle school, you did a really nice job on your Facebook Live video. I like that. I think the students are going to like that they have availability to it. On all three schools, I'd like you to consider something similar, and not just on the Facebook, but if you have access to YouTube, just to say hi to the students, keep in touch with the students. Seeing the friendly face is securing to the people there. The last thing that I'd like somewhere at the SAU level tracked, just for statistical and data purposes, a lot of the staff worked really long hours last week. If this continues through the crisis, I'd like to track those hours, just so that we have a data point at some point in time to show this is what the salaried staff has been working. Obviously, custodial staff, non-salary staff, we have that in the overtime accounts, but for the salaried staff that aren't being compensated, I just like data kept so that we get a clear picture of what this emergency actually involved in labor hours.
So if, don't count on your fingers yet, but go ahead and keep a log, and we'll get that information to you.
Another thought is on our FEMA tracking. Hopefully we have somebody that's assigned to pick up the daily items so they don't lose track of it, however they're kept.
Can you go back to daily items? What you
For instance, one thing that came to mind when I came to a meeting here, you had a lot of bags for student materials to go out.
Those will be going out twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
Now, is that cost for those bags, is that
Those
should
have
be
been
an addition?
donated. We have
Okay.
cleared out our garages
Okay.
of plastic
Right.
bags.
Okay, but anything, if that was an incremental cost that we incurred to get that out, that should be kept track of.
We are keeping
Okay.
those costs, yes.
Reams of paper.
Yes, we are keeping all of that.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Everything from thermometers to drop boxes to, we're keeping that
Okay.
cost, those
Good,
costs.
good. I'm sure the board will want to get at least a copy of that, probably maybe at least,
You'll see them
within
on
a
the
few weeks.
manifest as
Okay.
well, so.
good.
Yeah.
Will they be flagged on a manifest?
We can do that, or we can just make a list of here are the other things. We have included additional line items in our budget so that we can start, that are related to this specifically, so that we have cost centers under which those go, so they will start being flagged differently in the reports that you see.
Okay,
The
good.
board had asked me last time to do that, and I did that the next day, and then reassigned some of the purchases we had already made. So on your next expenditure report, you'll see lines that say COVID-19 equipment, COVID-19 custodial supplies. So they will be there.
Good, thank you. Hi,
Mr. Shagnon, can you hear that?
Joel, can you hear that from
Did you hear
the
that?
business administrator?
I'm having a hard time hearing Jana.
Okay, she's remoted
I'm
in.
getting like
as I
every
can get
few
it.
words.
Okay.
We can move on that.
I'm going to put the phone down closer. Okay. And basically, in a nutshell, she's already created the lines that the board had requested, and so those will be showing in the next expenditure report.
Okay.
So Ruth Ellen, do you have any general thoughts regarding adjustments that we should make before we get into a non-public session?
I would say that two things, the budget adjustments that we've brought to you obviously were prior to the world shifting on its axis a bit in the last couple of weeks, but they are certainly the result of at a minimum of 4 lengthy meetings with my admin team, thoroughly discussed, not lightly brought forward. They are, we've sweated over these, we've argued over these. A lot of these are not decisions that we necessarily want to make, but in light of what we had, felt that we needed to make. We may see some cost savings out of this. There might as well be a silver lining out of social distancing. But I'm a little bit I'm going to be cautious about saying that I can guarantee a savings here that we can do moving forward, because things are shifting pretty quickly. And I don't know what that's going to look like. We may have several more expenses incurred that I don't know about yet, or know that we're going to need it. I'm hoping that's not the case. And we can discuss what's possible as soon as we get into, because a lot of these are going to involve potential people, and I know that you have a lot of questions about what some of the positions are and what can move. So, and we can't do those in public.
Right.
So.
So at this point, do we have any last comments or questions from public? We have not received any phone calls yet, but the line is open.
It is. It's on. It's up.
Okay. Joel, any last thoughts before we go into a non-public session?
You know, I'm all set.
Okay. Not hearing any comments or anybody dialing us in, I will make a motion I'll close the public portion. I will make a motion to go into non-public session number 1 under RSA 91A:3(2).
Actually, wait, can we do that personnel rather than nominations first?
A, B, and C for personnel.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, a roll call?
Aye.
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 Thank you.